I can't tell you.
Thank you so much for coming out here with me, Christopher. I'm having a wonderful time. You mean a lot to me, and I'm glad that you're having a blast. I am so out of breath.
Hi. It's me. You guys just call me back when you have a chance. Hi. Hi. It's me. I miss your face. I was just calling to say hi. Call me back. Bye.
I was like, do you have 401k? And he was like, yeah. I was like, do you have 401k? And he was like, yeah. I was like, do you have 401k? And he was like, yeah. And I mean, the reason I ask him this is because if I get into a relationship with somebody, I want to know like what kind of baggage that they have. I think that's important. If I walk into a situation where I'm like, hey, I have good credit and I have all these things and I have all these things and I have all these things, and I have all these things that I can't tell you like the exact words of the exact conversation at the exact time and place, because it's like we had a lot of conversations. I mean, we talked every single day. So it's like I'm trying to help you guys with the stuff, like the stuff that's more current. I can give you guys a lot more like detail and exact times. But when you're asking me about something that happened 6 weeks ago and exactly what was said, it's like, I mean, I'm sure I can give you a general idea, but to be honest with you, like to pinpoint exact words, it's not going to happen.
June 27th, 2018. Chris Watts brings condoms to my house. One box is full and unopened. The second is a set of condoms from a partially used box. I asked CW why he has a set of partially used condoms. CW informs me that the condoms he has are from back when he was still having sex with his wife. CW told me they had been sitting in the closet collecting dust, and that SW, Shanann Watts, probably did not even know that they were there. I asked Chris Watts why him and SW used to use condoms. CW informed me that SW didn't like to get messy. I was curious, so I looked up the expiration date on the condoms and noted that the unopened set expired in late 2022, and the open set expired in early 2023. I looked up the lifespan of an unopened condom and discovered it is approximately 5 years. Based on my research, I assume these condoms were manufactured in late 2017 and early 2018.
I thought it was kind of cute. I was like, oh, he's a dad. I was like, do you have 401k? And he was like, yeah. I mean, when he was with me, I considered it to be fairly healthy. It was open communication. And it was what I thought was honest. And it was very calm. It was respectful. We got along really well. He gave me my space when I needed it. I gave him his. And anytime like he wanted to take care of it, like anytime that his kids could be in like his life for hours or days or whatever, whenever they were home, I made sure that I wasn't. Anytime that his kids could be in like his life for hours or days or whatever, whenever they were home, I made sure that I wasn't.
This is what we know about the timeline in the beginning of their relationship. Watts receives his first email from Kessinger on June 12. It says, "Chris, thank you for being honest with me this morning. Truthfulness is so underrated in our culture. Saludos cordiales, Nikki." On June 14, 2018, Chris Watts enters his coworker Nichol Kessinger's contact information into his work phone for the first time. On June 22nd, Shanann and Chris leave for San Diego to go on their Thrive trip, and they return on the 26th. On June 27th, 2018, Shanann, Bella, Cece, and Shanann's father, Frank, fly to North Carolina. They'll stay there for 5 weeks. Could it be on that same evening, June 27th, 2018, according to Nichol Kessinger's 7-page letter to law enforcement, Chris Watts arrives at her apartment with 2 boxes of condoms. 1 box is full and unopened. A second set of condoms is partially used. The whole world knows about that.
He was very calm. It was respectful. We got along really well. He gave me my space when I needed it. I gave him his.
She had her moments where I had to talk her like off a ledge kind of deal.
What does that mean?
Like, I guess after the fact, there was like videos of her that she was like recording herself because she was like bipolar or something. I don't know that, but there, it's like she would get worked up about nothing. She would just like, she came to my house once because I think it was like July 4th. I didn't have to work that day. So I didn't like get up at like 4 o'clock and go home. And Shanann called me like 10 times in a row. And I didn't hear it because I was sleeping. I was just like, and she was pissed. Shanann was pissed. And like I called her on outside, like, where are you at? Like, I was like, I didn't have to work today. It's like you called me at like 5:30. It's like, the kids want to talk to you at 7:30. I'm like I was sleeping. She's like, she just like. Screw you, like I don't know where you're at. And I went back inside, so I gotta go. And she was just like, okay, are you coming back? I'm like, probably not.
So wait a minute, you kind of lost me there. Were you at Nikki's place
Yeah.
when Shanann called you?
Yeah.
Okay, and so you were sleeping in her bed.
Yeah, because I wasn't going to work that day because I didn't have to that day.
Okay.
The first holiday I ever had off. And, Shanann was pissed, and, kind of pissed Nikki off too that I left, but I think that's when I called Nikki later, and she was like, she kind of realized that, she'd always be like, the second, she said second fiddle, that's right. And because that's how I would come back that day. Just, I don't want to be anywhere else when Shanann calls. She was already pissed. So it was stuff like that where she would go, she said she would go on like websites and look at like, will a relationship work with somebody? Like, will a mistress work? Will a mistress turn into a relationship?
That's what Nikki was looking at?
Yeah.
She would tell you that, or you
She
heard
told
that?
me that.
Okay.
Yeah, she said that she would go on.
Okay, so welcome guys. How's everyone doing tonight? And please let me know if the audio is okay and all of that. So I'm trying to reduce echoing. So there might be some trial and error. So yeah, welcome everybody. And oh, Chicken Lady, I'm so happy you're here. Welcome, my dear. Thanks for getting a hold of me earlier. It was awesome being on 80s channel tonight. Really fun. I always really enjoy all you guys. I enjoy Ellen and the moderators and the chat and the subs. Everyone's awesome. Welcome, Dead Man's Wife. How are you doing? Hi, Aussie Girl Jen, my friend. How are you? So happy you're here. Hi, Utter Nutter. Thanks for always being here and being awesome. Hi, Kez Chick 56. How are you doing? And let's see. Hi, Kitty Witty. How are you? Nice to see you again. Hello, Marina D. Nice to see you. Welcome. And Jody is cool. I'm so glad that you're here and we can see you and you can see us, I believe. Let's see. Zany Dude. Hi, welcome. I read that this was your first live stream, so welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Relax, feel comfortable. I think we're a pretty good group. If anyone gives you any trouble, I'm sure the moderators will kick their butts. Hi, Mary Viola. So happy to see you here too. I love it when you can make a live stream. That's awesome. Hi, Mrs. O. Thank you all of the Armchair Detectives moderators for coming over and showing us some support. I really appreciate that. Good group of people over there. Hi, Linda Quinn. How are you? Oh, thank you. That's a really great message. Yep. Awesome. That's wonderful. It's good to have support. Let's see. Hi, Mark Klein. How are you? Always happy when you can be here too. And let me just scroll up. Make sure I didn't miss anyone. Welcome, Kira Ann. And Wens McKean, welcome, my friend. How are you? Nice to see you here. Crackling Rosie True Crime, welcome. And let's see. Okay, and I think that's it. And guys, if I missed anyone, I'm so sorry. There we go. I don't think I did. Oh, Elizabeth F. I don't know if you're still here, but thank you. And I was reading your messages in the comments on Edie's channel, and I really appreciate your support and your feedback and all of that. So, okay. So, wow. Okay. During the last live stream, we were talking about NK demanding that, or it's like I like to call her Chris Watts, former mistress, demanding that Chris Watts show her proof of where he was, location-wise, geographically on the earth, when he was at work on the morning of August 13th, 2018, which is, of course, the date that his family, his wife, pregnant wife Shanann Watts, and his two daughters, Bella and Celeste Watts, went missing. And then that is the day when they were likely murdered and their lives were tragically ended and taken. It's a very tragic story. It's hard to talk about it sometimes. And as we talk about this case and this tragedy, I just want to say this. I don't ever mean to lose sensitivity to the serious nature of these precious lives being lost. And I think about this all the time, and I pray for them and their families all the time. And I, these feelings and thoughts are heavy in my mind and heart. There's still, in my opinion, and in the opinion of many people here and of many people out there, are significant issues of justice that need to be addressed. So I just want to say that to start. So anyhow, on that day when Chris Watts' wife and two daughters went missing and then we learned they were murdered, Nichol Kessinger was demanding that Chris Watts show her proof of where he was, like in real time, as he was out in the field in the early morning of his Monday morning workday. She wanted proof of where he was. And we're going to go much deeper into that in a little bit. So I'm just going to give you a little preview looking forward into, today's live stream. We're going to take a close look at the transcript portion of one of the interviews between Nichol Kessinger and law enforcement, in which the audio abruptly stopped. You know, and if any of you have any insight into this matter, please, you guys always bring good information to the table. It's not clear to me if law enforcement is claiming that that was just, you know, like an audio glitch, or if that was the portion of the interview that was cut off was intentionally audio redacted. Yet we still have the transcript anyhow. And what we're going to see is it's really interesting, the point when the audio is cut off and the information that is, you know, transmitted from Nichol Kessinger to investigators right after that point. So I hope that's making a little bit of sense. Sometimes when I do these, you know, like part 2 live streams, it's sort of hard to, like, you know, pick up halfway. So I try to give you a little bit of a background synopsis. Hi, Kristen C. Welcome. I know. Kristen C. says, I don't know how she hasn't been spotted at all yet. And I don't know that either. I mean, did she have crazy plastic surgery or something? I mean, you'd almost think that she would have had to, right? Hi, DTC Primetime. Welcome, my friend. Nice to see you here always. Zany Dude, new to our chat. Want to see what Zany Dude has to say? I feel they publicly and legally need to either clear her or charge her. This is a great point. Am I right in thinking that? I share that thought with you, Zany Dude. You know, it's just, I mean, the reasons that people have brought forth us, the public, you know, members of, you know, United States citizens or members of humanity, the reasons we brought forth that make us feel like justice has not been fully served are legitimate, reasonable, and they're substantiated. I think, you know, due to those facts, and it's not just a matter of rumors flying around that are completely unsubstantiated, I do think that they either need to charge her or clear her. So I definitely agree with you on that. I think a lot of people here probably would agree with that too. If any of you have anything to say to that, please let Zany Dude know. Oh, Aussie Girl Jen says, oh, that'd be nice. Yeah, Aussie Girl Jen says that would be nice. Hi, Wendy Swain. Welcome. How are you? Nice to see you, my dear. Awesome. Oh, and let's see. Mary Viola says, amen to that, Zany Dude. So I think a lot of us are in agreement here. Okay, I'm going to share a new screen. Let's see which one it is. Okay, whoops. Let me get back. Okay, so this one is, okay. I have a lot of files open here because we have to jump around a little. It's going to make sense in the end. This is really kind of crazy, guys. As I was doing research on this topic, I was kind of blown away. Okay.
It was very calm. It was respectful. We got along really well. He gave me my space when I needed it. I gave him his.
Background of the
Yeah.
phone call.
Yeah. So I didn't know what room he was in, but I was just like, I just thought it was weird because he's always like.
Now, guys, just to be clear, what we are listening to and seeing here, thanks in part to the channel Plunder, thank you, Plunder, is the video and audio recording of the interview between Nichol Kessinger and CBI agents, including the lead, Kevin Kobach, on the date August 16th, 2018. So this would be 3 days after the Watts family went missing and was likely murdered, which was on August 13, 2018, just for some context.
Before I go to bed and I lay down, he's always like kind of trying to do the same thing. We just talk. It's like a really chill thing till one of us was about to pass out, and then that's like the end of it. But it was strange because I was like, the TV's on. I remember I was thinking, I was like, maybe he's waiting up for her. And then I was like, maybe not. I didn't know. It wasn't something that like alerted me. It was just different from his standard operating procedure. Because whether his wife is home or she's gone, he's always got kind of like the standard op when he calls me. So that's why it was kind of like unique.
Okay.
Because it doesn't really fluctuate when she's there and when she's not there. He's pretty like free reign with what he does.
Mm-hmm. So anything important that you recall during that conversation about the children, about his wife, about what he was doing the next day, what he had planned, anything like that? Did he tell you any of that information?
I remember he told me he had to go to the field and not to the office on Monday morning.
Okay. Did he specifically say where he needed to go on Monday morning?
No, I don't ask him for those sites. There's like, Anadarko's got like thousands of sites. If he were to tell me, I wouldn't even
They're
know.
just like random numbers and stuff, right?
Well, he told me, he said, I got to go to a site. I got to go check out like a valve or something where they think that they had a release. Something like that.
Did he mention the town or anywhere?
No. He just told me that that's what he had to go do. He's
Okay.
like, he was like, I won't see you in the office in the morning. Because I see him, but I don't actually like talk to him. Like I will go in the cafeteria. I will put my lunch in the fridge, and him and his whole team are sitting in there, and I don't talk to any of them. I just walk out. But anyways, yeah, he's like, so I won't see you. I'm going to the field, which is not an uncommon thing for the ops guys to like just go straight to the field. Like it happens. Like typically they go to the office, I would say like 3 or 4 days a week, but there are days where him and his other team members are not there. Or like I'll get in there and some days the cafeteria is packed and they're all there.
Okay.
And other days I get in there and there's only like 3 or 4 of them.
So it didn't cause you any concern that he said,
No.
I'm going to the field on Monday, I won't see you. That wasn't,
No.
that's happened before.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
It wasn't something, and it's not just him. It's like that whole team. Like you can just tell when they've got like a lot going on because I'll walk in and there'll be like 2 of them as opposed to like 6 or 7.
Do you know what he did Sunday during the day?
So, guys, as you heard right there from Nichol Kessinger's mouth, according to herself, in her interview on August 16th, 2018, she recalls it was like, no big deal that Chris was going straight out to the field on Monday morning, and he had told her that Sunday night that he would not be reporting to the office. So, she wasn't going to see him. So she kind of goes on and on about how this happened sometime, what portion of the guys will be in or out of the office on any given day, and really makes a point of explaining to Kevin Kobach that it's no big deal that Chris told her on that Sunday night, August 12th, that he would not be in the office that Monday morning, August 13th, the day that Chris Watts' family went missing and the day that Chris Watts' family was murdered. So now, if we look to the discovery, page 576, I'm just going to read this for you. This is from Kevin Kobach's report. Nichol also...
Okay, so I just want to be clear where we're at here. So we just listened to that excerpt from the interview from August 16th, 2018, in which Nichol Kessinger was talking about Chris Watts telling her that he was not going to be going into the office that Monday morning, August 13th, but rather he was going to be going straight out to the field. So, hey, Empanada, you're not going to see me in the office, heads up. Okay, and she was very casual about it, like not a big deal, right? Like that was the tone. So now we're going to listen to or read the transcripts of her speaking about the exact same events, but at different times in the interview process. And guys, there really is critical information in here.
Question Chris during this phone call, referring to a phone call between Nichol Kessinger and Chris Watts on Monday evening, the evening of August 13th, as to why he had not come into the Anadarko office on Monday, August 13th. She said Chris usually comes to the office location in the mornings. There had been times when he reported directly to the field. Nichol said it was ironic his wife was missing and he did not come to the office that day, so she questioned him. Nichol recalled Chris telling her on Sunday, August 12th, 2018, that he was not going to come to the office and was going to a pump site. She recalled during this phone conversation on August 12th, 2018, that a television was playing in the background, and she thought it was strange Chris was watching television very late at night. Nichol believed Chris was waiting up for Shanann to arrive home from Arizona that evening. That is why the television was on. Chris told her during this call that he had to go to the field to check on a release. Nichol explained a release was a small oil leak at a well or pump site. Nichol was suspicious as to why Chris would be checking on a release, as he was not part of the environmental team. She explained usually if a release is reported, a team of environmental specialists respond to deal with a release. Chris occasionally deals with a release and may be responsible for closing valves and or shutting off tanks to stop the release. Chris told Nichol he was going to check out equipment and do a lockout tagout on the site if there was a release. Nichol said Chris is tasked with doing lockout tagouts, and there would be a record or some type of paperwork for this type of activity. Nichol questioned Chris about going to the job site on Monday, and it should say August 13th, not 12th, 2018, in the morning, and told him to prove he had been to the site. Chris responded with text messages between him and other Anadarko employees to prove he was at the site. Chris also sent Nichol a picture of a release. Nichol said Chris told her that Luke Eppel, Chris's supervisor, had requested Chris or Troy, at that point unknown last name, to respond to the release. Chris told Troy he would take care of the release, according to Nichol.
Okay, guys. Oh, and so let's see. It's going to continue on, and I think there's just a picture of the release that was taken from Chris Watt's phone. Let's see. Yeah, there it is. I threw this together right before the live stream. Okay, so there's a picture of the release of that oil leak, at the site. Okay, so that's what we're dealing with. So, this is just so crazy to me. It's just crazy stuff. Let me stop sharing there. And, let me just say hi to a couple people. Jenny Bradford, how are you? And Pair Women Radio. Wendy Swain, I already said hello to you, but I'm going to say hello again. You just made a good point. Let me see if I can find it again. I was reading through the chat as that was playing. Nikki, welcome. Please feel comfortable here. Relax. You are very welcome. I'm glad that you are here. Hi, Sugar's Mama. It's nice to see you. And let's see. I think I already said hello to Marina D, but I'll say hello again. And Mary, welcome. And I just don't want to miss anybody. You guys are all really important to the channel, so I just want to say hello. Kristen C, got Kristen C, and Zadie Dude. Okay, cool. Oh, this is an interesting comment. So, Ted Man's wife says, okay, if you're playing someone, of course they're going to get upset. So now that gives new meaning to him having to talk her off the ledge. It takes two to tango. It's a really good point. I mean, yeah, I think that there was, from both sides here, I think that there was definitely a certain element of dishonesty of intention at the very least. From Chris Watt's side, it sounds like there was, dishonesty about, kind of rote daily facts, critical life situations, the explanation of them. And, I will always maintain, just from all of the audio and the video footage and the evidence and the discovery findings of the Google searches and the deleted text messages and the broken SIM card and the deception about why she deleted those text messages and broke her SIM card, et cetera, that there was a high degree of manipulation on the part of Chris Watts' former mistress. And I think it would be really hard at this point to convince me otherwise, because it seems like everything we see coming from her has some angle of manipulation to it. Do you guys agree with that? So, so now you see, in that passage from Discovery, Nichol Kessinger was again explaining the situation about, Chris Watts having to go straight to the field that Monday morning, Monday, August 13th, the day that Shanann, Bella, Cece, and unborn Nico Watts went missing. And we later found out that they were murdered. And then now she's expanding on it a little more and telling Kevin Kobach about how she asked him for proof that he was out at that field that he said he was at. So, it's just kind of interesting that in her first interview on August 16th, she sounded very casual and nonchalant about it. And now all of a sudden it's suspect to the point that she's asking for proof. Now, it's also interesting that she's asking for proof as to his location, on the day that it just so happens that Chris Watts' family went missing. And then we later found out that that was the day that his family was murdered. Things just really start to come together here as you go deeper into her own recounts of what happened on that Monday, and call it, the mistress timeline of lies on Monday, and how the story changes depending on the situation. Now, okay, so now let's turn our attention to, I also want to say hello to Kelly Mack, Demon Child. And I also saw Kelly searches equals answers in the chat when we were watching that pre-recorded video. I didn't just say hi to you. So hi, sweetie, nice to see you here. And if I missed anyone, I'm so sorry. Okay, so, so now we're going to turn our attention to a phone interview held between Chris Watts' former mistress and CBI agent Kevin Kobach on August 21st, 2018. Now, this phone interview was recorded and the audio was released. At a certain point in the audio, it cuts off abruptly. Now, this is what I was asking you guys in the beginning of this live stream. Do any of you know if that cutoff audio was supposedly just a technical glitch, or if that was an official audio redaction? I'm not clear on that. If the answer is clearly available, it just has somehow escaped me, and I want to present you accurate information. So if anyone knows anything more about that, please go ahead and chime in. Jody is cool says, I just want to pick up a couple comments. If it wasn't unusual that he went to the site, then why did she want proof that he was there? Exactly. Her own words contradict themselves in a very stark manner. Kelly Mack says, none of it adds up with what NK says. Yeah. And, the more we look into things, that's what we find time and time again. If that happened in a couple instances, or in regards to a couple different topics or subjects where what her words did not align with the reality as anyone else knows it, okay, so be it. That happens. People have different perspectives. Things are not objective. They are subjective, and that might explain why. But it is a pattern. It is a probability that when we are talking about Nichol Kessinger's testimony and account of things are not going to line up. Things are going to just seem fishy, because they are empanada fishy. Demon Child says, NK is so shady. That's what I was just saying. Okay, so now I'm just going to have you listen. Okay, so we're talking about now the phone interview on August 21st, 2018. So what I'm going to do is share with you the written transcription, okay? To start, because I want you to see the point at which the audio abruptly cuts. Okay. And this is kind of just in rough form right now. Just bear with me. I had a lot of research to put together, information to put together for this live stream. And then I got a message from Chicken Lady earlier asking me to be on 80s channel tonight. And it's always a pleasure. So I wanted to do that. Okay. All right. So I feel that this transcription of this interview was relatively hard to find as compared to other information from this case. So I just wanted to put that out there. I think that all of these little details, when we're considering, the details that don't make sense in this case, become relevant, and they might mean something more to you than they do to me. So I want to give you as much information as possible. Okay. So you see, in this at the very top here, we have answer. So that's going to be Nichol Kessinger is giving the answer, and it reads, and I was like, again, like, I don't remember like word for word, but it was something along the lines of like, she didn't take your daughter's EpiPen. And he was like, no. And I was like, well, aren't you a little worried? Because I was like trying to do my own reconnaissance. And I was like, aren't you worried about that? And he's like, well, we have like a stash of them in the basement or something like that. And he's like, she probably just took one of those. And I just thought it was weird because several weeks earlier, he had told me how expensive EpiPens were. So I'm like, if they're that expensive, how do you have a stash? You don't have a stash. Nobody can afford a stash of EpiPens. And then question. So that's going to be Kevin Kovac says, right, they're very expensive. So then answer, and that's going to be Kessinger again, goes on to say, and yeah, so I was like, so at the time, like, I didn't think anything of it. And now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, well, that was a lie too. And so, all right, it's right in this area, guys, where the audio of that interview, the phone interview from August 21st, 2018 cuts off abruptly. So I'm going to play you that audio and the point where it cuts, okay? Okay. Let me just find it. Excuse me. Oh, yeah, EpiPen. Sorry. Okay. Okay, and then guys, and then the audio cuts off, okay? The audio cuts off. At this point, where you're reading in the transcript here, the audio cuts off. Where she says, after she says, nobody has a stash of EpiPens. And he says, right, they're very expensive. And then she says, and yeah, so I was like, so at the time, like, I didn't think anything of it, but now, and then it cuts off. Okay. Does that make sense? It should make sense. So now, guys, I'm going to continue to read the transcript of that interview at the point the interview was cut off, just as far as audio. All right. Okay. So, all right. So she says, and yeah, so I was like, so at the time, like, I didn't think anything of it. And now I'm thinking about it. And I'm like, well, it was a lie too. And Kovac goes, okay. And then Kessinger. So there's that. And then also in the same conversation, so then I started questioning him about why he didn't go to the office on Monday. And I was like, and again, like, it's not an abnormal thing for him. And again, sorry how this is kind of, just choppy here, but I was putting together a lot of material for today. Oops. You go top 36, my friends. Thank you for your patience. Oops. I think I'm going to have to reduce the size of the font. Okay. Get to the top of 36. Okay, that is. Okay, so then question. That's Kobach. Is your first, you refer to it as your first conversation. I don't remember you had two that were lengthy. One, I believe, was from 9 p.m. until 11 p.m. at night. And we talked a little bit. Answer, it was. And then question, that's Kobach. About this previously, about him saying that he wasn't going to go to the office. And then Kessinger, yeah. So I'm sorry. It's like I jump around sometimes. That's okay. I'm going to try to kind of role play the voices, okay? Because I just think it's going to be smoother than me saying Kessinger, Kobach, all right? All right. When I start remembering stuff, so the big conversation that we were talking about, the really important one, where he like gave me all of those like weird one-off details. That was the first long conversation on Monday night. I don't know what time that was, but that was like the first long one where he said all that stuff, like all of that was in one conversation. That, and when you say all that stuff, like the smelly sheets are talking about, I feel like these are two like cave people talking, guys. The ring, the wedding ring. Okay. The weird part where he slipped up, like him being the one to push the say, okay, gotcha, them separating and not her. So, and then the EpiPen thing, and then all of that, and then so back to Sunday, August the 12th, the night I believe we only had one phone conversation. I looked at it. I pulled up my phone records today, and I'm pretty sure that we only had one phone conversation. And then I think I just went to bed. Am I doing okay with my role playing? Okay. But on Sunday night, the phone conversation, that's the one where I heard the TV in the background and I was like, maybe he's staying up and waiting for her. Do you remember I told you guys that? Yes. I was like, I think it's really weird the TV was on because he talks to me when he's in bed and he wasn't in bed. So this is the same conversation. In that conversation, he told me I have to go straight to the field tomorrow. And he was just like, like I'm gonna get to see you I'm not gonna get to see you in the morning. And I was just like, all right. And I was like, why? And just like, I gotta go. He's like, I gotta go check out a site and like a release in the morning. And a release is like when the oil industry has like a release of any type, like oil products or anything like from any of our equipment. And I was like, I remember asking him, I was like, well, why would you have to go check out the release? You're not part of the environmental team. So when you say release, is that he was like a spill? Yeah, kind of. I mean, I don't want to call it or like something's leaking or because, yeah, like something's leaking like, okay. Anything that's involved with the oil gas industry, anytime like, so if a piece of equipment leaks, I mean, you got to think they've got millions and millions of pieces of equipment, like, sure, it happens. And so he's like, I have to check out a release. And I remember asking him, I was like, why do you need to go do that? You are not part of the environmental team because like our field operators, they will find a release and they'll call our environmental team, which is like who I work for. They don't call me though, because I'm not the one that Oops. Oh, sorry. Sorry, guys. I'm not the one that next page deals with that stuff, but they do call people. Like in my department, they say, hey, I'm on this job site and like a tank's battery's leaking, or like oil tank's leaking or something like that. And then we go out and assess it and clean it up and so on and so unintelligible, as if this whole thing is intelligible. So those are actually specialists that go out and clean this up, and he's not one of those people. No, he's not. But sometimes, like those guys, like his job is important to like shut in oil wells if there's a leak, or like shut valves if there's a leak. Like he manages the equipment. So when he's like, I got to go out to check a release. And I was like, why are you going to do that? That's not your job. And he was just like, I just need to go check out some of the equipment where the release occurred. Now, that part really didn't seem too odd to me, because I mean, it makes sense that they're like, hey, we have a release. Send an operator out to make sure he said he had to do a lockout tagout on the site. So that means, depending on where the release is, if it's near a piece of equipment that could be have like potential energy to be hazardous. Oh my gosh. What we do in the oil industry is what's called a lockout tagout. And certified operators such as himself will go out there and will pull a lock with a tag on the piece of the equipment where you operate it. So it cannot be in use. Like they'll de-energize a piece of equipment and like shut it down. And then they'll put a lockout tagout on it. And the point is, like, so if there's an environmental team comes to clean up the mess, nobody accidentally re-energizes this piece of equipment while we are trying to clean up the mess, because it could injure somebody. Does that make sense? Yes, I got it. Okay, so now I'm remembering this just now, and he's like, I think I gotta go do a lockout tagout on some of the equipment for the release. What would that be something that would have been tracked? Certainly, there's a lot of paperwork and safety requirements and all sorts of things with each site. So if he was actually going to do a lockout tagout, would that be something that I'd be able to look at, record at Anadarko, and know that he was actually assigned to do that? To be honest with you, probably. Again, I did not work with him. But if there's one thing that I do know about Anadarko and I love, and I'm gonna miss those guys so much, it's the fact that they're very safe. Like they're one of the best oil and gas companies because of how safe they are. Firestone. So with that being said, I would be willing to bet there's typically, well, like a protocol, right? So I mean, there would have to be a known problem for him to do a lockout tagout, right? Yes. So yes. Somebody would have had to call and said, hey, there's in your guys' words release at this site, and then some boss or whoever it may be would call Chris and say, hey Chris, I need you to check this out. If it's so, you're a skilled equipment operator, you make the decision, you lock it out if you have to. Then the environmental team comes and cleans it up. So there's got to be like a track. Yeah. Record of all of that going on. I'm assuming there's probably is, because lockout tagout, because it's to save lives, so it's a very serious thing. Right. It's a safety thing. And like certainly certain people, yeah, and like only certain people are authorized. Like I couldn't lock out, tag out something like I don't have that certification. Plus you're shutting down. It's not. I promise there's a point to all this, guys. A piece of equipment that makes money. So yes. Somebody wants to know that, right? Yes. Somebody there? Yes. There is it's a business. I'm just trying to think as a business person how they would do that, because certainly if you're doing that, they want to get the team out there and clean up whatever is going on as soon as possible. So they can piece of equipment back in order and running so they can continue to pump oil. Understood. Well, and the other thing is that like he hadn't even looked at the site yet. So it's like, how do you know that you need to do a lockout tag out? I don't know. Ooh, our empanada is starting to think. Check this out. That's what I'm saying. That's unintelligible. I mean, I would like to, it's something for me to investigate. I'm just kind of trying to get because you obviously know a lot. Yeah. More about the oil industry. I don't know anything about it. That makes sense to me. And that's good. So that's good. Cool. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I didn't even like think of that till just now. So anyways, that is a question for Ann and Darko. That is not a question for me. Well, didn't she spend a long time answering a question that wasn't for her? Yep. But anyways, so he told me that he was going to have to do that, and I was like, all right, cool, then and then so he didn't show up for work. Well, he did show up for work on Monday, but supposedly he was in the field. And then Monday evening, after my friend Jim left, that's when Chris and I spoke on the phone. Sorry, I lost my place. Oh, in that first really extended conversation, and I don't know exactly what time it was. It was late, but that first really extended conversation, that's when he started saying kind of all that really creepy stuff. And then in that conversation, I started questioning him. And I was like, did you really? I don't even remember exactly what I said, but I asked him, I was like, did you really go to the job site this morning? And he was like, yeah. I was like, and who told you to go there? And I think he said his foreman had asked him, either him or his like co-worker man, this guy named Troy. I don't know, Troy. I don't even know what he looks like, but I do know he exists. So I guess their foreman relies on Chris and Troy to kind of like run their little part of the field. And so Chris was like, yeah, my foreman asked either he or Troy to go out there and go look at it. And okay, so now the important thing here, or one of the important things here, guys, is that now not only is her story changing in this regard, that it was like all cool that on Sunday evening, he told her that he was not going to be in the office. Sorry, empanada, not going to see you Monday morning. I'm going straight out to the field. She's like, oh, it's all cool. No big deal. That happens sometimes, right? Then, next she's telling Kevin Kovac, well, maybe that is a little weird. It didn't really sit right with me, to the point that in that moment on Monday morning, I actually texted him or called him. We don't really know because we don't have the records, but we know that those exchanges existed, but they're not in discovery. And I asked him for proof in that moment of where he was. So now it's getting even deeper, because now she has so much concern that he just went straight out to the field and not into the office that morning. Later on that night, that Monday evening, she's asking him about earlier that day, and again, making him reaffirm the story and questioning him. Oh my gosh, she must be the most annoying person to date. were you really out in the field today? Were you really where you said you were? And just probing him and questioning him about it. Let's see. Okay, so I'm just going to read a little more of that. I'm sorry to torture you with this, but now I also want to point out her verbal pattern here. So Kessinger uses the word like a lot. We know this, right? But in this section of the interview and the transcript, you can go through, I have a program where you can search certain words in a transcript, and she says like here in this section more than any other time throughout this whole interview, which indicates to me from my applied behavioral analysis perspective that there is clear deception in what she's saying. Okay, just a little more torture, I promise. I think. Do you know his foreman's name? I don't. He's got a few of them, I think. Okay. I want to say that's okay. I want to say Luke Apple, but I don't know. You're going to need to find out with Anadarko too. Okay. That's an Anadarko question. That's all right. And I know but Luke is, and I know who Troy is, so we probably already already answered that. Okay, all right, yes, great, blah blah blah. Okay. So, anyways, I told him to prove it because at this point, I mean, the things he's been saying, like the sheets was kind of weird. What it was? It was the wedding ring comment that freaked me out. Like the sheets did, like was kind of weird at the time. And the fact that I thought he had maybe and just lied to me about the separation, but it was like the wedding ring comment, like he was so callous, like he was just ready to like cash it in and get some money. You were telling. And I was just like, him to prove what? To prove that they had told him to go to the field right away. Okay, so. And he's like, how do you want me to do that? And I was like, you take screenshots of the Anadarko phone and you text them to me. Let me repeat that. So Chris Watts is saying, all right, so you want me to prove like where I am? What do you want me to do? And Kessinger's response is, you take screenshots of your Anadarko phone and you text them to me. And did he do that? And yes, he did. Okay, all right. And he didn't send me the whole conversation, but there was 2 pictures of a release, followed intermittently with like, there was a text like on either side of the picture. And it looked, I didn't get everything. He just sent me like part of the conversation and I didn't have dates and times on either. Like you couldn't see the dates and times of what he was sending me. So he could have been sending me something that was not like recent. It could have been something from like weeks ago and I wouldn't have known, but he sent it to me. And he sent it quick, like it just like instantaneously when I asked him for it. Like I was still on the phone with him. And okay, so now we know, I didn't catch this before, guys. So now we know that this was a phone conversation during which time Kessinger demanded that Watts send her proof of where he was. And she specified what that proof ought to be. Right. Then I looked at it while I was still on the phone and it made sense with what he'd been saying, but okay. The only thing in there, yeah, like it almost looked like someone else was originally going to go to that site, and it looked like the conversation, I interpreted it, the conversation that he had with his foreman and with Troy or whoever was in the conversation, that it looked like the conversation had occurred probably at some point over the weekend. And then it looked like Troy, I think, or someone else in the field was originally going to go out there first thing on Monday, and he told them not to worry about it and he would do it. Okay. And I don't know the exact words, like I don't have that whole conversation, and that is something you need to go to Anadarko for. Yep. Okay. What's next? And yes, well, then that conversation, that's the end of that. And then, okay, let me see if that's over. Oops. Sorry, guys, I'm just scanning through this to see if there's anything else here, any other material that relates to the topic at hand. Sorry, guys, just relax in the silence. Okay, so let's just end that there. It was pretty painful, but let's see. Let's do this. Okay, so all right. So what we've seen through, or heard rather, seen or heard through listening to either the interviews between Kessinger and CBI agent Kevin Kobach, or reading the transcript during that part when the audio of the interview abruptly cuts off right when they're talking about the stash of EpiPens that the Watts family obviously wouldn't have because EpiPens are so expensive. And as soon as she begins to talk about Chris Watts going right out into the field that Monday morning instead of into the office, the audio of that interview abruptly ends. And again, guys, when I was looking for this transcript, and I'm going to link it in Discovery, so if you want to access it, you can. It was really hard for me, not really hard, but much harder for me to find the typed transcript of that portion of the August 21st phone interview after the audio had cut off. Then it was much harder to find that than it is any other material related to this case. Putting all of these things together, we find that when Nichol Kessinger first told Kobach about Chris going right into the field, not the office, it was like, no big thing. That's what they always do. The guys sometimes do this. And then she had a certain degree of concern, and she was raising some questions as to why he might not be the appropriate person to do that. And she was concerned to the point where she, in the moment, asked him to send proof while they were on the phone. We now know that of his physical location. Where was he really? I don't believe you. You send me proof. Okay, what do you want me to do? You can send me this. And she said, before she could even, look at her phone, those pictures were there. And then as she continues to talk to Kobach later in the interview, she went on to talk about their discussion on Monday evening. And she went on to tell him that even after the fact, that Monday evening, she was still so concerned and preoccupied with what he was or was not doing during the day on Monday, August 13th in the morning, that she again made him recount and affirm his story. And she just wasn't concerned, or she wasn't certain, why he would be there. She volunteered the information that normally an environmental team would be doing this kind of work. And it just doesn't make sense. To me, it seems like this woman is really scrambling to cover her tracks. It's much like that 7-page letter that she gave to law enforcement. I think it was on September 4th, 2018. So this is a few weeks after the fact. She gave them this 7-page letter, in fact, on the day when her handlers, so to speak, switched from Kevin Kobach to Dave Baumhover, which I think was probably a wise choice given the strange dynamic we've witnessed between Kobach and Kessinger. I referred to that as, pardon my language, the cover my ass letter, because in that 7-page letter that she volunteered to law enforcement, it seems to me, in my opinion, that she's really cleaning up a lot of loose ends and details that could be incriminating towards her that she was hoping to explain away. Now, in my opinion, Kessinger feels that she's very clever, and it seems to me that she believes that she's able to smooth over these things with law enforcement quite easily. Now, we don't know if Kevin Kobach was, using some sort of method or strategy or technique in communicating with her and was intentionally allowing her to believe that he was believing her, or if he really was just kind of snowed over by this dirty empanada. But, the impression that I am left with, at least, is that she was trying to work one over on them, and she kind of did. I'm wondering if anyone has any thoughts on this. Let's see. I see some questions. Just one second. Got a cute little baby bunny hopper, got out of his little baby bunny cage. Oops, this is one of our, oh, this guy's like, I don't know, four weeks old, I think. Oops, the light. Do you see him? How cute is this one? Let me turn this light off. I think we all need a cute bunny after all that Kessinger like. Little fishbowl. Okay. All right. So sorry. I just had to pick him up. He's so cute. So let me go back up into chat a little bit because I want to pick some of your questions. Now, guys, this, this material that we put out there so far, this is still there's more. This really is, so we follow this trail and this topic of, the timeline of lies on Monday, August 13th. Things get deep. Okay. All right. Let's see. That's funny. Jennifer says, Kelly's going to go on 80s panel and accidentally say like a million times after this. I was on 80s earlier, luckily. Hi, Nancy Ann. How are you? Aw, I'm so happy you're here. Okay. All right, let's get some questions. I hope you guys appreciated my theatrical rendition of the Kessinger-Kobach interview conversation. My throat's dry now. All right. Okay, I'm going to have to stop somewhere, so I'm going to stop here. With Mary Viola comment, I'm sorry. Joanne, Rourke said NK gave bombshell evidence. Expanding Ping, she saw CW carry out plastic bags and sheets. Okay. So I think, this is, let's see. So, it was actually AD, Armchair Detective, that recently put forth this theory, and maybe it was out there before. It was the first time I had heard it or considered it, that, that ping of Nichol Kessinger's phone pinging at 6:16 a.m. in Frederick, Colorado. And I did a couple live streams ago. I think I pretty thoroughly explained this. And also in the Nichol Kessinger documentary, part 1, it explains the ping in the 111-minute conversation in as much detail as I could find. So in order to explain, the theory goes like this. Perhaps Kessinger knew that law enforcement was going to absolutely positively know that her phone pinged in Frederick, Colorado on the morning of the murders. And she knew she was going to have to explain that away. So she's like, I'm just going to tell him, hey, I was being a crazy mistress lady, empanada, and I was stalking my boyfriend because I was really jealous and I knew his wife was coming home the night before and I was really insecure because I'm cuckoo. So I drove to his house and I sat outside his house because I wanted to be really psycho stalker weird and see what was going on. And guess what I saw? I don't know what he was doing, but he brought these 2 big trash bags out and put them in his truck, and it's like a sheet, something wrapped up in a sheet, and put it in his truck, and and from there you could go one of 2 ways, that she perhaps gave law enforcement that narrative and storyline, and they planted the evidence of the trash bags and the sheet, which I think that, I don't know, I have a hard time going that far. I mean, that would just be so corrupt. My brain's not willing to accept that. Or, that perhaps she just knew that there was trash bags and a body wrapped in a sheet involved because she was there and she gave law enforcement that information before they questioned her and pinned it back on her. Does that make sense? Somebody asked, is Chris innocent? I don't think so. Definitely not all. I think he should be in prison. There's probably a range of opinions on that question in this chat right now, and people that follow this case, but that's my opinion. I just want that to be stated. I do not think Chris Watts is innocent by any means. It's important to me that people know I feel that way. Yeah, it's Troy's interview. That uncommon. Okay. Hi, David. How are you? And Mountains for me. Hi, how are you? I'm glad you made it. Nice to see you. Okay, so this is no. Don't feel ignorant. Don't ever have to feel ignorant or bad or anything here. We like to be very open and have a lot of liberty in what people are able to express in the chat on this channel, as long as you're being respectful to the other people here. That's the most important thing. So Gail says, I feel ignorant, but I thought she was cleared. I don't think that's an ignorant question at all. In fact, or thought. Earlier in this live stream, somebody, suggested, I think that they either need to, clear her or charge her at this point, because kind of being in this judicial purgatory is, causing a lot of, people to be very unhappy with feeling like justice was not completely served. And, it's harmful to all of the parties, to the victims' families, to the potential suspects, that it's just not good. I think that, justice to some degree needs to be black and white. It needs to be clear cut. It needs to be legible. People, the masses need to understand it, and society needs to understand its meaning. So when we leave these things, these issues to just kind of simmer in this obscure territory, I don't think that's good for supporting the best execution and protocol for justice being laid out in our country or any society. So back to your question. Was she cleared? I don't think that you could say she was cleared because the statements that law enforcement made about her publicly were ambiguous. Please, somebody, if I'm wrong or if I'm just not thinking of something important right now, feel free to correct me in chat. That's totally okay to do. My brain is filled with a lot of likes, but at no point did anyone clear her per se. But I think that you're totally like right on point to be wondering that. Jennifer Bradford says, I need a Valium to play NK. Oh my goodness. I need a Valium to listen to NK. I'm sorry for putting you through all that pain. So I've seen a lot of comments about did she or didn't she know Troy. I'm going to pick up here with Autumn's comment. Hi, Autumn. Welcome. Thought she didn't know Troy, right? Yeah. So her, statements about her familiarity with Troy McCoy, who's Chris Watts' coworker, who was there at Survey 319 that day. And there's a lot more to say about him. Are inconsistent, like a lot of her statements about a lot of different things. Let's see, what is it? Mountains for Me says, didn't Troy meet Chris Watts on Friday for a flash drive? Yes, that's correct. So on that Friday, it would be August 10th before the August 13th date when the family went missing and the murders occurred. Interestingly, Troy McCoy, Chris Watts, and Nichol Kessinger all had the day off from work. On that day, Chris Watts met Troy McCoy in a parking lot with his two little girls in the Lexus with him. And ostensibly they met so Troy McCoy could jailbreak his Fire Stick so he could access like free premium sports content. That was the story, I believe. Again, guys, seriously, if you know better than me on some things, and sometimes you guys do, feel free to add those details or correct me if you need to. And Jody is cool, says, yes, a Valium to listen to NK, but speed to play her, LOL. You guys need to understand what a refined art it is to read the part of Nichol Kessinger. Just kidding. Trust me, guys, if the audio was available for that portion of the interview, I would have played her own words. Oh my God. Isn't that weird, though, that there is no audio available for that portion of the interview? Okay, so Mary Viola says, Mary's always getting to the point. Exactly, Kelly. So why did Troy, Chad, Melissa, and Cody show up? Can you clarify that question? Put that into context. Exactly. So why did Troy, Chad, Melissa, and Cody show up? I know that during one of the interviews, I think it was with Cody Roberts, I think, I may be wrong on that, but the person that was being interviewed said, well, you wouldn't want to be the only one at a battery site, at an oil site, under any circumstances, and I'm paraphrasing, of course, but particularly if you're checking something that's potentially has a heightened danger, like a release. I remember they used the term, in case things go sideways, you want to have some backup. Somebody's got to have your six. So, even the fact that Chris Watts was there to check an oil release by himself without a coworker there to have his back in case something went sideways, I'm sure that was definitely outside of company protocol. But Huh. Okay, so Mary says, Shanann's grave, where did the dirt go that was removed? That's good. I've never heard that question before. I'm just kind of thinking out loud. My thought is that it was so disrespectfully shallow that I guess I would have assumed that the dirt would have just sort of, that's a good question, because I guess if you're turning up earth, especially in that Colorado land, my understanding is it's kind of a dusty, sandy top. And then underneath it's like darker, hard kind of clay. So as you're overturning that earth, you would think perhaps, again, I'm thinking out loud, that there would be signs of that around that site, like of different color soil or earth or whatever. I don't know. That's a good question, Mary. Wendy says, according to Troy, he wasn't unusual for CW to volunteer. He was good like that. That's right. Yep, that is right. Oh, well, I'm so happy you're with us, Zany Dude. Welcome. Welcome to the fam. Happy you're here. Hi, Kelly Rott. Welcome. I don't think I said hello to you yet. Yeah, and Kelly says, also, do you marry? Good question. That's a good question. Very good question. Maybe it blew away, Mary. Maybe. Well, so I want to get into the weather report. I have a video that has a very accurate weather report for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of that week in that, very local area. So Mary says, in my opinion, the Anadarko workers helped. I would love for you to expand more on that, Mary, if you'd like to. Or guys, if anybody at this point would like to come up on panel and talk, I would love for you to do that. Maybe we could read some Kessinger scripts together. Just kidding. But you're welcome to do that. If you'd like to come up, just let me know and I'll drop the link. Okay, Gail, this is a great point. So Gail coming into chat, bringing great points. Welcome. I'm so happy you're here. So in the last live stream we did last week, which was a part 1 to this part 2, we brought up this point, and it's a very important point that should be discussed throughout, anytime you're discussing this topic. So Gail says, wasn't she in charge of such things as release, etc., for safety? So yeah, I mean, her self-described position in Anadarko was health and safety. I mean, that's all that she really said about it. And then when she went on during her interviews to give greater detail about her job duties, they had to do with, checking the safety equipment that the operators and workers would carry on them to make sure that there wasn't, a heightened danger of, noxious fumes that could make a person ill, or, something that would cause combustion or explosion, or, any of the hazards that accompany being on and close to crude oil fields. So, what I was saying in the last live stream is that it was really interesting to me that she wouldn't have, in the later of the interviews, when she's telling Kevin Kobach that she was so concerned about what Chris Watts was telling her about going straight out to the field and the duties he was going to perform rather than right into the office, she was so concerned that she asked him not once, in the moment, but twice also Monday evening, she asked him to, repeat his story of what he did in the field that Monday morning. You would think, given her position at Anadarko, when Chris Watts told her on Sunday evening that, hey, Empanada, you're not going to see me in the office tomorrow morning. I'm going straight out to the field, and this is why. I would think, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, that being the health and safety person who was kind of in charge of overseeing these guys and their health and safety out in the field in certain regards, that she'd be like, wait a minute. And she might say some of the things that she told Kevin Kobach in that transcripted interview, for which we don't have the audio, that, hey, it's usually an environmental team that does that. Hey, Lover Boy, this isn't, something that you normally do. And this is really a dangerous situation. And the whole procedure towards inspecting a release and then doing a lockout tag out, as she tells Kevin Kovac, is for safety and saving lives. And oh, sweet lover boy, I don't want you to endanger your safety or your life, God forbid. So I don't think that's a good idea. Or just questioning him to some degree. I mean, you would think that she cared about him and she had the insight from a professional perspective to know that him going out to inspect an oil release by himself first thing in the morning was not a wise idea. And I'm sure it did not adhere to company protocol. And holy cow, I'm way back on chat. I got to speed up here. Hi, Cecile. Welcome. So happy you're here. Hi, Christina. Welcome. Christina says, I think Chris Watt's girlfriend knew everything that he was going to do. I think that is very possible. Hi, Truth and Transparency. Welcome, my friend. Nice to see you. Nice chatting with you on AD today. Truth and Transparency. Lana. We love Lana on this channel. All right. How far behind? I'm still like 20 minutes behind. Dang. I got to catch up. Aussie Girl Jen, I'm interested. Could you please expand on this a little more? Aussie Girl Jen says, I used to think he was innocent until I listened to Common Sense yesterday. Is Common Sense a channel or a podcast or a what? I would like to know more about that because I'd like to listen to what you listen to that influenced you so much. Hi, Karen G. How are you? Karen G says, a ton of ambiguous statements from law enforcement. Only thing they sounded sure of is Chris Watts acted alone and threw them away like garbage. Yeah. Karen, I'm going to go to you again. I believe she did know him. They separate themselves and distance themselves from each other in a suspicious way. Troy and NK, is that who you're talking about? Oh, interesting. I can't place where this would be, Zany Dude. If you have more information about this, I believe you, but if I could cite it, that would be awesome. Zany Dude says, NK called Troy her buddy pretty early on, I think. That would certainly be inconsistency in her stories. Hi, Jamie Smith. Welcome, my friend. How are you? Nice to see you. Oh. Okay. So Karen says, I'm curious about the weather out there. I have an answer for you. This will take 4 minutes. Let me find it. It's going to keep coming up. The weather always comes up at this juncture. It's a video I made once upon a time. I actually put this video out like back in June, and then I uploaded it again early fall because there were some rumors, misconceptions, and misinformation sprinkled about the weather at Keensburg, Rogan area on, August 13th, 14th, 15th, those dates. So let me set the record straight. I like research. I like thorough research. I enjoy research. There it is. Okay. Okay, so let me share with you this. Okay, so this video was called, Chris Watts, Survey 319, Historic Weather, Photos of Rogan, Colorado, Summary of Rain and Wind on 8/13 and 8/14. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but let me get to the... I forgot about that intro I made once upon a time. Okay, so thank you for letting me indulge, and let me get to, all right, here we go.
So I'm going to show you what I found.
Oh, this audio is so bad. This was before I actually started using some things to enhance the audio, so I'm sorry about that.
We're also going to look at some of the texts that Chris Watts sent that terrible Monday morning while he was at Survey 319. And we will look at...
Let's just get to the weather. Okay, here it is. All right, this should do it. Okay.
Early Monday morning, okay, when she came home from Arizona, based on a number of factors that include the weather and the way the ground over Shanann's shallow gravesite was discovered when it was found, indicate that Shanann couldn't have possibly have died early that Monday morning when she got home.
Now, I'm just saying that that is a theory.
In fact, some people believe that based on a number of factors, and oftentimes, not only, but the weather is a heavy factor in the development of that theory. You know, they say that she had to have been murdered on Tuesday or perhaps even Wednesday. I pulled historical weather data for the dates of August 13th and August 14th in 2018 in or near Rogan or Keensburg, Colorado. Let's take a look at Wonderground. So I assure you that on August 13th, you can check it out for yourself, there was no precipitation reported. So I'm not even going to show you that. So when we look at August 14th, we see that there is a day without precipitation going from midnight to 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. and so on. And then you'll see it around 7 o'clock. There is a spike in the first blue line indicating precipitation. Now, this spike shows a total of 0.3 inches of precipitation, which of course was rain in August in Colorado, in that hour. And then you'll see another smaller spike that shows at about 8 o'clock some more precipitation, lighter precipitation, and that precipitation rendered a total of 0.05 inches in precipitation or rain. Okay, so when you look at the next screenshot here, so I'm starting you off looking at Jen at 6:42, heavy thunderstorms, again no precipitation, and then at 6:53 it just notes light.
Okay, now I'm going to just go pass through all these details. The audio is really bad. So you see how I pulled this data that substantiates what I'm concluding about the weather on August 13th and 14th. So now I'm just going to move to the summary, okay?
Drone footage survey, and
I don't know why. Okay. I have to watch this video again. I forget some of this information. All right, that I put in here and why. I put it in there. Okay, here's the summary
of the weather events on Monday and Tuesday, August 13th and 14th, 2018. The weather was collected in Kinsburg. That is the closest historical weather data collection center. It is approximately 1.7 miles from Survey Ranch. Historical weather records indicate no rain on Monday, August 13th, and moderate rain, 0.3 inches, on Tuesday, August 14th, 2018. These moderate rain continued for 30 minutes to 90 minutes and was followed by some sprinkles, shall we say. The winds were perhaps the more significant event, with moderate sustained wind from the hours of 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., with strong gusts of wind up to 53 miles per hour. I recall seeing a video that someone made when they were visiting that area, Survey Ranch, exactly. They were on exactly the Survey Ranch property, in fact, and they were just showing what it would be like to pick up the dirt and let it sift through your hands. Just visually you could see, just imagining yourself picking up the dirt and it being that consistency, what the dirt might be like in that area. And it really looked more like dust, a soft dust than dirt. And I mean, that's what it looked like to, I would imagine, just about anyone who saw this video that somebody took and shared. And that was also the account of the person that actually visited the Survey Ranch during the summer and, dug into the dirt, to the earth with their own hands.
Okay, so the important thing here, guys, is that that there was no rain on Monday, August 13th, and there was moderate rain, 0.3 inches of rainfall on Tuesday for 30 to 90 minutes. Then it should say 90 minutes. That's a typo where it says 90 hours. Silly me. And that was in the evening. So when you look at various scales of precipitation in that geographical location and climate, you do find that 0.3 inches of rain is rather significant, more than, I live in upstate New York where it's not like quite as dry. It's like we're in sort of a mountain embraced like little rain zone where I live. Relatively speaking, 0.3 inches of rain out there is a decent amount. And then the wind was also a significant factor on Tuesday. Tuesday, there were moderate winds sustained with heavy gusts in the evening around the same time that rain came, up to 53 miles an hour, which is a pretty hefty gust of wind. Okay, for whatever it's worth. Oh, boy. Okay. So welcome Deplorable and Ho Chi Winner and Jamie Smith once again. And who else did I miss here? Cecile and Sarah Latte. I'm so glad you're here because I knew you were. I was looking for you earlier. I was looking for you when I'm like, Where's my trail of paperwork, girl? Very sensible person. I like that. Sarah says, leaving a leak unchecked for 2 days is not standard operating procedure, in my opinion. You're right. It's not, in my opinion. You're so funny. And then Ho Chi Winner says, I've heard a lot of people say this, and upon close inspection, I think I agree. Yes, they both, NK and CW, seem on substances. The bathroom swimsuit picture looks like there is substance residue on the counter. I think it appears that way as well. It was Lana talking. The trip, the switch. What's that? Okay. Oh, this is what. So Aussie Girl Jen says, no, Kelly, it was Lana talking that tripped the switch, to be honest. Oh, gotcha. Okay, cool. Yeah, no, she's tripped. That girl's tripped my switch more than once. Yeah, I mean, Lana has really good things to say. And during the course of listening to Lana talk about topics, I've completely seen things from a different perspective. I think that's something really valuable she brings to the discussion. So, Molson Man, welcome, my friend. So happy you're here. Oh, Jamie, I'm sorry about your hamster. I'm so sorry to hear that. One of my pet bunnies passed away right before the last live stream. I almost had to cancel it. I'm sorry to hear that. Sending you a lot of love, sweetheart. Utter Nutter, how'd you know? Kelly will sing your name. Molson Man has made an entrance. Oh, you guys are great. Let's see. Jennifer Bradford says, if they reopened this and looked more into NK, they would have to look into everything they covered up in this case. Why else would Dr. Phil drop his suspicion of NK? Yeah, completely. I agree. Oh, yes. We're always trying to get you up on panel, Molson Man. Oh, yeah. Does anyone want to come up on panel? I asked that question and then I realized, excuse me, I was like so far behind in chat. Let me catch up to like current time. Like. I'm not gonna be able to drop the likes. Oh, hi, John McSmith. How are you? My friend, my nemesis, John McSmith. Yeah, I agree with this, Sarah. The drone footage, she says, doesn't show a wet or muddy sheet to me. I agree with that, Sarah. And I personally have a different thought thinking about the whole sheet situation than I believe that most other people do. And I'd be interested to hear more thoughts you might have on the sheets. Let's see. Oh, wow. Here, I'm with current time. Cool. So Ho Chi Winner says on the topic of sheets, why throw away the sheet? Why not put another one under or with? Yeah, I don't know. It's very, very curious. But I personally think this, and you might have a point that refutes this, and I would love to hear it. I think questioning things is always good. I think too much has been made about the issue of the sheets and the sheet in the field and the sheets in the house and when they were thrown away. And I don't read that deeply into it. I know that Chris Watts in his Dodge interview said that he placed the sheets that were in the garbage at the house in the garbage at the house. And I just believe that's how it happened because it makes sense. So, I think questioning things is definitely good, but I try not to make chaos out of things that could otherwise would and should make sense. Just my opinion. What? Oh, yeah. Let's see what Zany Dude has to say. The thing is, they don't have to reopen the case. Chris can have his own world. Really, no one needs him, in my opinion, to continue on with jailing, imprisoning, and going forward with possibility NK and others. Oops. Sheets. Oh, okay. DTC primetime. Yeah. Says sheets confuses me. Are there 3 sheets plus the ME sheet? What's the ME sheet? I don't know what the ME sheet is. Should I know what that is? Or were the ones on the floor next to the bed the ones that ended up in the trash? I don't know. I'm gonna have to sort this out now. It's gonna be a video. It's gonna be a live stream because now we have a question. Maybe Sarah knows. Sarah knows a lot. Sarah says, we only have the word of the mistress and CW. I'm sorry. Let me start that again, Sarah. We only have the word of the mistress that CW was FaceTiming her without any sheets, right? Yeah, absolutely. As far as I know, I don't know who else would witness that. Mountains for me says possibly she was held for CW do the things he was doing. Then confirmation was the pics in the interrogation of the site confirmed she was gone. Okay. I think I get that. Like, yeah. So like kind of like a code. Somebody who was at last live stream, I believe, suggested that Kessinger requesting the lyrics to the song Battery by Metallica was a communication of where Bella and Cece were left. Terrible thing to think about, but it was an interesting thought. Medical examiner sheet. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, correct. DTC primetime. That is my understanding. Yes, that there were 3 sheets plus the medical examiner sheet. Yes, I believe that that is the case. If anyone else knows differently, please let me know. Zany Dude says, I agree, Kelly, and that not to sound harsh, but things like sheet talk are thrown out there regularly, filler to get attention off of more incredulous things, I think. Distracting, maybe. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. Molson Man says that was supposedly the bed in the basement, right? The one he FaceTimed her from that was missing the sheets. I actually, Molson Man, was under the impression that was in the master bedroom. Does anyone have any information about that you'd like to contribute? Christine, I just read the first couple words and I agree with those for sure. I hate that there are avenues that weren't explored. There shouldn't be in this kind of a case. There should not be. For instance, the air conditioner repairman that was noted in Discovery, they should have verified everything. Absolutely, 100%. DTC primetime, what sheet set comes in 3 sheets? Something doesn't add up for me, just saying. Well, so wait, maybe it was the 2 sheets and then the medical examiner sheet. I don't know. It would take me too long to look that up to verify it now, but we will be tying those details up in soon. Wens McKean says there has to be more people involved. A guy of Chris Watts' intellectual level would not have overlooked the obvious details and evidence that were left behind. I mean, that's very, possible. Then, my next thought to that, if I'm playing kind of devil's advocate or explore all of your thought processes, is, whatever was going on, I mean, I'm sure that it was causing a great degree of, mental, neurological, psychological, and endocrinological, strain and abnormalities in his functioning. So he may not have been thinking or acting or behaving clearly, but yeah. Sarah Lottie says, it was Monday night. I thought the master bedroom as well. Yeah, Molson Man, I'm pretty sure that was the master bedroom. Pretty sure. And yeah, and I think that Mary's right. Says DTC fitted sheet and the top sheet. And then there was, yes, the medical examiner sheet. Our new friend, Zany Dude, says, question I have is the image of Chris asleep, topless, one bed with he and Shanann in a picture frame where he is resting on his hand. Do you know which room that was taken in? I don't, wait, the image of Chris asleep. Oh. Gosh, I can barely, I just always assumed that was the master bedroom, but I'm not sure. I'd have to pull up that picture. I'm sure. Yeah. That's okay. That's okay about the grammar. When I'm typing in chats, I say crazy things. All right. Wait. What? Okay, everyone just be nice and respectful in chat, please. Right, Christine. Yeah, that's a good point. Yes. Yes. I mean, you would think given this triple homicide of a pregnant woman and her 3 and 4-year-old beautiful little daughters, you would want to be it would be of utmost importance to be as thorough in this investigation as you've ever been in anything you've ever done in your entire life. And I think it's enraging to many people that care and respect was not extended to the victims in this case. That's how I feel. DTC Primetime, I know you can count to 3. You're a smart girl. I don't even know what you're talking about. I just saw the comment about counting. Oh yeah, John McSmith. That's funny. Isn't it Cindy Watts recount at some point that Shanann wanted Chris to change his name to Christopher like that? That's really funny. Oh, Ara, how are you? Welcome, my dear. I was thinking about you earlier. I'm so happy you're here. This is a good question. What size bed was in the basement? Queen. I always imagine it to be a queen size bed because that's what it looks like to me, but I do not know that for sure. And I don't know if there's any verification of that. Okay. So, hey. So John McSmith, my friend, my nemesis. So that's cool. But, my philosophy on this channel is, that people are welcome to come here with a range of opinions and ideas and express them and feel comfortable to do so as long as they're not being vile or like grossly disrespectful or, particularly to somebody who's right here in chat. So, we allow that here. Something is irritating, just, go take a breather. How much longer will we be online? I'm not sure, Ara. I'm not sure. Autumn says, interesting thought, DTC. It looks like a queen. Yeah, I think it looks like a queen too. And all I have is by like what I know was kind of like in my head, I guess by eyeballing it, Let's see. Jolisa. It's Jolisa? What a pretty name. Jolisa. 85 Jolisa. Welcome, my friend. John McSmith, I'm glad we can now all come to a consensus that the repairman did it. Oh, yeah, Ara, it was great. It was great being on 80 tonight. Yeah, I was on Armchair Detective earlier this evening. If anyone wants to catch the replay, I think we had a good conversation. I always enjoy talking with him and being on his channel. I think he's a good guy. Let's see. No. Okay, so the new character. So it seems like in chat, let me just clarify that some people are talking about people that may have been witnesses or had information that should have been questioned. Other people in chat haven't heard of those people and are jokingly saying, "Oh, there's new characters involved now." Listen, guys, the thing is, people hear different information, and you end up solidifying the ideas that you hear the most about that seem to be supported by some kind of fact-based evidence. And when something was not thoroughly investigated, unfortunately, law enforcement has left a lot of liberty and range for us to develop different ideas that aren't necessarily, part of the factual picture. And that is part of the problem in this scenario. Okay, so just everyone be respectful. Mountains for me, I believe that's true too, that the basement sheets were still on the unmade bed. I think yes, because there are pictures taken on, Monday or Tuesday that would, substantiate your statement there. Ooh. Whoops, let's see. Wilson Man says, if it was the same bed that Frank and Sandy use when they live there, I can't see it being any smaller than a queen. Yeah, totally. I'm pretty sure it's not. Yeah. DTC prime time. Let's do that. I'm going to start working on it right away. Let's figure the sheet thing out without dramatizing it for sure, because it just needs to be put to rest. Mary Variola asked, do you think before NK's interview, they rehearsed what to say? Whether she rehearsed what to say with another person, whether it be from law enforcement or Chris Watts or her dad or whoever, I'll tell you guys, and I'm sure that many of you agree, as you listen to interview to interview to interview, there is, same verbiage use, same kind of statements, same stories, but in this very kind of generic sort of manner. And I think the intention behind that repetition is to mimic truthfulness, where truthfulness does not actually exist. Hi, Pamela Stevens. Welcome. How are you? Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. It was really fun being on there. It was like talking to AB. Yes, utter nutter, to what I was saying before about allowing different expression of opinions here. Everyone is passionate. And I've said this before, I think it's a good thing when we're talking about a triple homicide of a pregnant woman and 2 little baby girls. If you believe justice has not fully been served and you're not passionate about it, I believe that's a big problem. Let's see. Molson Man asks, I think that was like a Freudian slip. I think I said Molson Mask because I'm looking at the picture there. Were the girls' sheets still at the house? I know there was talk of missing blankets, but what about the sheets? Yeah, the sheets were still on the bed. Christine, seriously, no worries. John McSmith, my friend, my nemesis, can get a little sharp sometimes. I remember his entrance into my chat space on this channel was a whirlwind. All right. Jennifer Bradford, I always wanted to know who Starbucks cup was in the trash from the very first look into the trash. Yeah, so that kind of ties along with the sheets, right? I think it was one of the Thayers, and I've also heard and seen, this issue dissected into great minuscule detail, and maybe there is something to it, but my mind isn't registering like what that like trigger is. I just think, but if there is something to it, I would like to understand that better. Let me know if you have anything more to say about that. Yeah. So Sarah just says the girls' beds were visible with sheets in the welfare check video and made up the following day. Correct. And Molson Man says, Jennifer Bradford, I've heard that it belonged to Amanda Thayer. What time was on the Starbucks cup? I can tell you in a second. I have just, let me. Let's see. Or maybe I don't have it. Let's see. Oh, you know what? I think that, let's see, I might not be able to access it right now from this computer because I have this weird firewall. Let me, yeah, okay, I can't access it from this computer. Never mind. There's something else to follow up on. Oh, yeah. Let's see. While I'm doing this, nope, I just want to mute that, pause that, go back to that, cut that. Let's see, so this one's called 101. Stop. Share. Sharing a different screen. Just different visual. Okay. Salon Savvy. Welcome, my friend. Okay. Let's see. NK's always been. You think John McSmith says NK always been highly sus in my book. Do you think so? Man, I don't think she's sus at all. No, I don't think so. Let's see. Welcome again, Salon Savvy. Glad you're here. Are you being serious about Nicole Atkinson, John McSmith? Really? I think neighbor Nate was in. Oh, okay. You're being, I get it. You're being ironic or whatever. That's cool. Let's see. Why were they searching in a couch? Autumn. Yeah, why were they searching a couch? That's where her Apple Watch was found. Yeah, so Kelly says, so I was looking at stuff on Shanann and the Starbucks cup, and a friend of Shanann said that she doesn't even drink Starbucks. So that's her friend. Oh God, what's that woman's name? Lauren Arnold, right? Yeah, yep. She definitely said that Shanann does not drink Starbucks. And I think other people have said that she doesn't drink coffee. So I just think it was the Thayers. I believe it was the Thayers cups. They each had a Starbucks cup when they were, on one of the officers' body camera, recordings outside of the house. And it just makes sense to me. But we can look into that too. Yeah, Lauren Arnold. Yeah. So, okay. So DTC prime time, you're saying about NK may have been in the house. Okay. And then Jennifer Bradford is saying the same thing. You don't think NA was involved, but I do believe she was in the house way earlier than she revealed. That seems to be a possibility. Yeah. Molson Man says, so you see a Starbucks cup in Nick's hand when he's outside against the garage. And at some point too, when they're just inside, it's like that little alcove as you go up the little steps, you're on the porch, and then, in the doorway, Amanda Thayer at some point is standing with her back to that wall that's adjacent to the door and is holding a Starbucks cup. My God, how we studied these things to like minuscule detail. NA slip into the bedroom after everyone had already been there. Okay, I'm going to entertain this one. So Zany Dude says the body cam footage shows NA slip into the bedroom after everyone had already been in there, and comes out soon after that. She is seen texting, and Chris gets a message and turns to the bedroom. Yeah, I've seen people put the footage together like that, and that's possible. But, I think, Zany Dude and anyone else, there's also, a lot of other occurrences that could explain that series of events that we are only seeing visually through the body cam footage, if that makes any sense. I'm getting a little loopy. Oh, okay. So then the end of that statement comes out with Shanann's ring on his finger and brings it directly to NA with the cops right there. I think we could probably watch that. Let's pull that up. I think that's worth watching. Let's do it. Okay. What's that officer's name? Kunrad. Let's see if this is going to hit it. Just give me one moment to find what we got to find. Here it is. It's going to be right around here. Alrighty. Let's see. All right. Well, oh, that's the wrong one. Which one? Oh, so that one is part 101. Okay.
Yeah, I can look at that and see.
Am I missing it? Wait, it's in this section somewhere.
About that time.
It's in the section here, right? I'm just like not hint. Well, we'll just play in the background. That's fine. And then it'll present itself. So it's where they find the phone. All right. I'm just going to mute that and we'll let it play in the background. We'll see if we can spot the exact place where that happens with the ring. Everyone make sure you're being respectful in chat. Yeah, so this I think is a really good point here, Pamela. So Pamela says it's not, or I'm sorry, it's like NA and the R's knew something. Why not call your own daughter's phone? Now, I don't think they knew anything that was like nefarious or that would implicate them in any criminal or ethical wrongdoing. However, you know, it is curious, and you do have to wonder why. And there's got to be a reason that Sandy didn't call Shanann's phone to find out how she was doing. She started, you know, calling like other avenues. Now, again, please, would never imply any wrongdoing on her part. I absolutely, positively, with all my heart and mind, do not believe that there was any wrongdoing on the part of either family, but it's just interesting. I know she was so, I mean, I don't know how she kept so organized. I've made attempts at trying to organize my closet like Shanann fashion before, and it lasted for like 48 hours, not even. John McSmith asks me, I believe there's a couple Kellys here, but I think you're asking me. If you're asking a different Kelly, we can ask them too. And in my opinion, when did NK and Chris Watts first start getting chummy? You know, I don't believe it was like, you know, way back, like that previous July 4th, like some people have theorized. But I do think it was earlier or further back than either of them are admitting to. And I think there's a reason that they won't disclose the truthful timeline. I don't know. So you're saying that the Starbucks cup that was found in the trash didn't match up with the one that the Thayers are drinking? Maybe. Like, I kind of like, well, maybe it was one of the, you know, maybe someone from law enforcement brought Starbucks. Maybe Dave Baumhover brought in Starbucks. I mean, I hope he wouldn't be so sloppy as to throw it away in the garbage of a possible murder scene. But yeah, I mean, yeah. Yeah, no. So Zane, Zany dude, I saw somewhere they zoomed in on the label. Oh, okay. I already read that one. I want to read another one by you, dear. Let's see. Where did it go? Let's see. So Zany Doo says, I don't know if this is allowed here, so please tell me before booting me. But I believe NA either texts Chris or texts Sandy, and she texts Chris with the next steps throughout the day. NA, I don't know. I haven't heard of that one. I mean, as long as people are being relatively respectful and honest in their intention of sharing, things that they've heard about or things that they're curious about, I have a problem with virtually nothing. But, we don't want to get wacky or, starting to infringe on the territory of slander or just being reckless. So you're good, is what I'm saying. Hi, Anaphylaxis. How are you? Welcome, my friend. Yay. Okay, Karen G, this was a good response to the question I posed. Maybe NA called Sandy and told her that she found Shanann's phone. That's possible. So, let's say that NA was there at the house earlier than, she let on to initially for what I believe to be completely innocent reasons. And she found Shanann's phone and she was alarmed. She could have called Sandy ahead of time. And I think that kind of communication and scenario is very likely, Karen G. And again, I just want to be clear that it's my opinion that neither of those people are guilty of anything criminal or really even unethical in any way. Yeah, Sarah Lottie, this is a good point. So this is a fact, all right? So Shanann Watts' phone responds to Amanda Thayer's call by sending a message that says, I'm not answering because I'm traveling. Automatic response for when the phone is in the car and the car is in motion. So that was around 12:30 p.m., 12:30, I'm not sure. But it was at a time when they had not openly found Shanann's phone yet, but NA would have been in transit. Perhaps it was to go to Shanann's doctor's office. I can't remember right now. My brain's a little scrambled. I'm getting a little tired. But yes, that is true. And that is curious. So, that would indicate that if Amanda Thayer's, call, receive that message, that phone was in motion, because those alerts on iPhones, I found in my experience, are just pretty damn accurate, I don't know. There's son there. Yeah, okay. These are some very interesting points. So Melissa Mann says, especially since, according to Sandy, she was woken from her sleep and ran around her house, telling Frank Jr. and Sr. that something was wrong with Shanann, yet she never called her directly. That is very curious. Yeah, that raises question for sure. Zadie Dude says, Pamela, how so? What did Pamela say? Oh, so let me go back to Pamela. Pamela says, no one is working together to find Shanann Watts and the kids, except NA and the R's. Possibly. Zany Doo says, Pamela, how so? She and her son and the cop went into the house like gangbusters and nobody called out for anyone. I think that is strange too, because you think you'd be yelling, Shanann, Shanann. And I just imagine I'd be like kind of jogging around the house, trying to cover as much, as much of the house as I could to make sure my friend was okay. Just how I imagine it. Maybe, maybe not. Karen G says, disclosing the actual timeline would make NK appear more suspicious and possibly involved, in my opinion. I agree with that. The Starbucks are a Sheetz equivalent. Yeah. Para Woman Radio says, I think NK met her at the gym Chris went to when the in-laws were living with them. You think NK met her, you meaning Shanann at the gym or Chris at the gym? I've heard something similar to that before, and I think there's, a few things that would indicate the possibility. Karen G says she's always trying to say how short a relationship it was. It wasn't serious. He liked me way more, et cetera, et cetera. She does, try to drive that point home time and time again, doesn't she? Mary says she thinks that they met at the July 4th fireworks. And, I've heard that too. And I personally haven't subscribed to that, but it's possible. Oh, is this when he comes out with the ring? Does he have the ring there? No. Does he have the ring? Yes, he does. Okay, we got it. We got the ring. Okay. All right, hold it. All right, so let me go to the footage here. We found the moments we were talking about. So let's hit it. All right, I'm gonna just go back a little bit for context and turn the volume up.
At 5:27 a.m., the overhead garage door 2 was left open and never shut. About that time. So either like when I pulled away and shut the door, it never shut. It was shut when you got here. So either the sensor was tripping out, it just happened before that better replaces it. Before I left. It says the basement door was left open at 5:26. Visitor detected 1:48. That's when she got home. And then visitor detected 12:10. That was the weekend.
Were you able to pull up the video at the 12:10? See, was it front door?
12:10. That was Nicky.
That was you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they were beeping at me out the field.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I just got up and was doing something. Hold it. Let me go back a little bit because I think what Zany Dude was saying that the NA slips into the bedroom and she perhaps like does something on her phone and then Watts picks up his phone. All right. So I just want to see all this go down. All right. Sorry, guys.
It says the basement door was left open at 5:26. Visitor detected 1:48. That's when she got home. And then visitor detected 12:10. That was the weekend.
Were you able to pull up the video at the 12:10? See, was it front door?
12:10. That was Nicky.
That was you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they were beeping at me out the field.
So I guess I'm just not seeing where maybe I'm kind of multitasking, which I suck at. Oh, I'm playing Unjustified's video. I thought this was my own. Thank you, Unjustified. This is from the channel Unjustified. I don't know how I ended up on that. Thank you. So I want to see when she goes into the...
Door 2 was left open and never shut.
You guys filed yet or anything? Daycare watch them? Or?
She usually watches kids if they're not at school.
Okay.
So where's NA right now?
At the pool?
The little rec center thing right here.
There's a pool right down there.
Yeah.
I can run down there and start.
You guys having any kind of issues, marital issues, or
We're going through separation.
you are? You guys filed yet or anything, or just talking about?
No, we're gonna sell the house. Do a separation.
How's that going?
Going
Civil for the most
civil.
part, or? Does your wife go to that swimming pool often, or the,
It just depends. I mean, on a hot day like this, I would say no.
Yes, whoever asked if NK's daughter's there, yes, and there she is. So she went into the bedroom, right? Comes out.
Says at 5:27 a.m. the overhead garage door 2 was left open and never shut. About that time. So either like when I pulled away and shut the door, it never shut. It was shut when you got here. So either the sensor was tripping out, which happened before. I've had to replace it 2 weeks ago. Before I left. It says the basement door was left open at 5:26. Visitor checked at 1:48. That's when she got home. And then visitor checked at 12:10. That was when she came.
were you able to pull up the video at the 12:10? See, was it front door?
12:10. That was Nikki.
That was you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they were beeping at me at the out the field.
Okay. Alrighty. So I don't know. So Anaphylaxis says NK looks very concerned and suspicious. I think there's going to be a whole range of different opinions on this one. Let's see. So I'm just going to pick up some comments here, okay? The way he's looking at his phone and resolutely goes back to the bedroom, it's like he's got a text from someone instructing him to go to get the ring and show it to them. Yeah, that's how I gather some people are reading this. Jennifer Bradford says, I think NA knows that Chris knows she was in the house, so they're dancing around each other. I get that sense too, Jennifer. Sarah says, and the iPhone password updated was late July 2018. I'm not sure what that means. Hi, Sammy Jo, welcome. And noting that she turns her back. Yeah, I know. And really, the whole point of it is, Kelly Rutt, I really wish they would have just gotten divorced. Seriously, man. My God, what a senseless tragedy. Let's see. Password update. Okay, I'm reading things backward. That's why it doesn't make sense a little bit. Hospital employee Shanann was. Okay, so on the topic of, had Shanann Watts and NK met before, I think, right, Sarah? Sarah says, the hospital that employed SW hosted a fitness charity event, and NK is pictured as a participant. Yeah, she's doing like a rope climb. That's right. That's true. So let's see. Okay. Mountains for me. Kelly needs assistant with all this info. I feel like that sometimes. Thank you. Okay, guys. So listen, it is 10:48 and when did this start? A little bit after 8, but I think I'm going to have to call it a wrap for today with a live stream. But thank you guys in chat and moderators and everyone, for being respectful and for, offering your opinion and some really great information. I love doing live streams because I really like, having a chance to connect with all of you guys. So I appreciate it. And I appreciate the emails and just, everything you contribute as far as ideas and whatnot. Every next live stream is usually a product of, some conversation and question and trying to work things out between us, during a previous live chat. So that's really awesome. And thank you so much, Nutter. Oh, Kelly. You're welcome. Thank you guys. Thank you, Nutter, for being here for the duration. I think that you were the only moderator for quite a bit of the time. I didn't want to say it while it was happening, but thank you very, very much. And I know that other moderators came and went, and I'm just so grateful that you guys ever even show up. You're so amazing. Thank you. Hi, Kira Ann. Welcome. Oh, thank you. Well, welcome to the channel. Thank you. I appreciate that comment. Thank you very, very much. Appreciate it. All right, guys. Another live stream soon. I just got to plan it. And we're going to iron out the sheets. Haha, pun intended, on the spur of the moment. But yeah, thank you guys so much. Everyone be safe. Love you guys. Take care.